Hi, this is Miss Andrea. I'm here at Fort Bend Children's Discovery Center and the Gullah exhibit, and I have a really cool project for you guys today. It is a water strider. We're going to make our own water strider. Do you know what a water strider is? It's the little insect that you see zooming across the ponds, and you could go to Herman Park and see it there. The water striders use surface tension in order to stay above the water. So we're going to learn about that today. We're going to make our own water strider. It's pretty cool. Okay, so before we get started with making our actual water strider, I want to go through a little bit of science so you can understand why the water strider is able to stay on top of the water even though it weighs more. So what I'm going to do is on this penny, I am going to drop some water. And what you'll start to notice is as I'm dropping water, it's not flat. Do you notice that it's kind of rounded? The reason that it's rounded is because the molecules of water, they are very attracted to each other, so they hold on tight to each other, but on the very surface of the water, there are no molecules above, no water molecules above for them to hold on to. So here they're holding on real tight, but on the top, the ones on the top don't have anybody to hold on to. So they hold on to the ones beside them extra hard. And that creates kind of a skin, a little skin that sits on the top of the water. And as long as the amount of water that I'm putting on there doesn't exceed how much they can hold on to each other, then it'll continue to make a big round spot. But look what happens when I put too much. The water tension breaks. So water tension is those water molecules holding on to each other super tight on the surface. So that's one thing I want to show you, and then I'm going to show you how a water strider stays above the water. Okay, so this is really simple supplies that you need. You're going to need a bowl with some water. I put some food coloring in mine. You don't have to. You're going to need some wire. You want to get some really thin wire. Wire for me, I always collect the wire from my Christmas lights when I throw them away, because you can use this for all kinds of projects, and they have some really nice thin wire in here that we could use today. So you need wire strippers or scissors to take the plastic off of the wire. And then if you just have trouble with these, sometimes people have trouble with they're so thin. I also found that these kind of things that come with your garbage bag, they work very well. So I'll show you how to do these, and then if you have a lot of trouble, you can try an alternate way of doing them. Okay, so before we actually make our water strider, I want to show you how a water strider will sit on the top of the water. Remember, all these molecules are holding on real tight and creating a skin. So you can take a needle and drop it into the water and it will float on the top if all the parts of the needle hit the water at the same time. If one part of the needle hits first, it will break the surface tension. So an easy way to do it is to take a napkin, a piece of tissue paper, and gently place it on the water. And what will happen is the tissue paper will absorb the water and allow the needle to sit on the top. So the needle is now sitting on the top of the water. The needle is not floating in the water, it is actually on the surface of the water. And this is what the water strider does. So even though the needle weighs a lot, it's able to stay up there because of the water tension. If I just touch it a little bit, well, if I touch it and create an imbalance, then it will go right through. So just so you see that this is not a trick needle, it falls right through when I drop it down like that. So the water tension is actually what's holding it up, and that's what happens with the water strider. So in order to make the body for the water strider, you're going to start with your wire. So if you take this type of wire or this type of wire, basically what you're going to do is you take your wire strippers, if you have wire strippers, and you take off the plastic part. So that's what I did here. And then once you take that off, you have a nice spacing in there. Water striders are about 1/2 inch long, and they have 3 pairs of legs, and that's how they distribute their weight. And so what you're going to do is take some very thin pieces. These are a little bit bigger than a water strider would be. Once you have it open like this, you're going to cut off 3 of them, about 5 to 7 inches. And then once you have those 3, that's going to make the 6 legs. And so what I did was I twisted them until they made the body, and then I sprayed out the legs. So you'll notice that there's a little curve on this. Once you have your 6 legs, try to distribute the weight out and then give it a nice little curve. You can take your finger and just curve it. The important part is that all of the legs are hitting at the same time, because if they don't hit at the same time, it's going to break the surface tension and they're going to go right through. Now, the water striders actually have another thing that helps them to stay afloat, and that is that they have tiny little hairs on their legs that keep the air molecules in, and they have a little bit of oil on them, and that also is their secret weapon from going in. So if they get dunked into the water, they can usually pop back up because they have that secret weapon. So we won't be able to do that with these, but this will be enough if you spread out the weight well enough to be able to sit on top of the water. So let me show you. Oops. And you might notice that there is a little face. I took a little piece of tape and I put some eyes on it. You don't want to add too much weight, but you can add some little ice if you like, and so you have your little water striders on there. Now, if you put it in and it falls through, don't give up. Take it out, make sure all your legs are straightened out, give it a nice little curve. You just have to keep playing around with it. But if you have trouble and you just can't get the small wires to work, I have found another material that will work. So these were from some fruit that I got, and they came with a little bag, and the little bag came with something to close it up. So again, you just twist it, and now remember, insects have 6 legs, so you're going to make those 6 legs work. Oops, I didn't twist that one good enough, but I'm going to show you what it looks like. This is what it looks like, and it's much easier to stay on the water. And because there's more surface area, you might be able to put some little tiny googly eyes on it if you want. Here's another one with the ones from the garbage bag. And so now you have a water strider that sits on the surface, and now you know why it's able to do that. So I think it's pretty cool. Scientists, nature is like the best systems out there are in nature. And so scientists are studying water striders to see how they can make things that stay on the water better or move faster on the water. And they even made some little robot water striders, which are pretty cool. So you might be the person that comes along and studying water striders figures out how to make something that will be useful for people and based on nature. So that was our project for today, a little water strider friend. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't give up if you have trouble getting it to float on the surface. Just keep doing the little legs and making sure they're all hitting the surface water at the same time, and you'll get it to work. I know you will. I hope you enjoyed this project, and I'm signing out. This is Miss Andrea.